Hi, fourth grade. It's Scotchabata here. This is the video for week 6, day 1. You can practice now. Today is Wednesday, so I'm going to do as possible so that you can work at whichever pace you would like. Okay, so to start today, for our learning targets, it says I can use visual models to add and subtract two fractions with the same units. Okay, so I know that the visual model is our strategy. That's what we're going to be using, some kind of model. We're going to be adding and subtracting fractions with the same units. Okay, so for our daily warm-up, we're going to start at 0 and count by 1s to 8. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, for number 2, it says count by 1/8 to 8/8, starting at 0/8. So we're going to start at 0, 0/8, 1/8, then I'm going to write 2/8, then 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. And I know that 8/8 is the same as what unit? It's the same as 1 whole. Okay, so now we're going to count by 1/8 from 0 to 1 again. So we're going to fill these in: 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And notice that this time I put 1 at the end instead of 8/8. I replaced that as 1 whole. Okay, next it says 4/8 is the same as 1 of what unit? So I want you to think about, okay, if we have 4/8, that should say eighths, not eighths. 4/8, what is that the same as? It's the same as 1/2, right? It's the same as 1/2. And you could have written that in a fraction or in unit form like I just did. Okay, so now we're going to count by 1/8 again. This time, they want us to convert to 1/2 and 1. So that means when we get to 4/8, we're going to write 1/2. And when we get to 8/8, we're going to write 1. Here we go. We're starting at 0. Okay, instead of doing 4/8, I'm going to write 1/2. And then instead of writing 8/8, I'm going to write 1 whole. Okay. What other fractions can we rename to make smaller sized units? So I want you to think, okay, what other fractions here could we rename? All right. So which other ones could we simplify? So I know that we could simplify 2/8 could be, if I divide both of these by 2, I know that 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 2/8 is the same as 1/4. Okay. I know that I could say 6/8, right? Again, I can divide both of those by 2. And that gives me 3/4. So 6/8 is the same as 3/4. Okay. So those are the two other fractions that we could have renamed here. All right, so that's just a little bit of a warm-up. Now we are going to go down to our new learning. Okay, so it says, show 2 ways to solve each problem. Express the answer as a mixed number when possible. Use a number bond when it helps you. So I want us to look here, and I want us to see, okay, our problem is 2/5 plus 3/5 plus 1/5. Okay, so they said, okay, 2/5 plus 3/5 makes 1 whole, right? Because this together makes 5/5, which is the same as 1 whole. And that's what they put right there. Then they took 1 whole here, and they added 1/5 to it. So they got their answer of 1 and 1/5. Okay? Another thing they could have done is they just added up all the units right away. So 2 plus 3 plus 1 here, and they got 6/5. Now, they said, okay, 6/5 is a fraction greater than 1 because my numerator is greater than my denominator. 6 is greater than 5. So I'm going to break this down so that I can convert it into a mixed number. And we did do this a little bit before school closed, so you may remember. So they said, okay, how many fifths do you need to make one whole? I need 5 fifths, and that's what they put there. Then they said, okay, how much do I have left over to get to 6 fifths? I have 1/5 left over. So that means my mixed number is 1 whole and 1/5. 1 and 1/5. Okay. So going on to the next page. All right, up at the top, now we are subtracting fractions and whole numbers, and we're subtracting multiple fractions from a whole number. Okay, so the first problem they gave in the example here is 1 minus 3/12 minus 4/12. Okay, so the first way they did it is they added the two fractions that they were going to have to subtract from 1. So they said, okay, here I have 3/12 and 4/12. I know that eventually I'm going to subtract both of those from one whole, so I'm just going to group them together since they're both 12ths. And now, if I add 3/12 and 4/12, I get 7/12. So now I know that I'm just taking 1 minus 7/12. So then they said, okay, I'm going to rewrite one whole in 12ths. So I know that one whole is the same as 12/12. So now I have 12/12 minus 7/12, and that gives me my final answer of 5/12. Okay, so that's one way they solved it. The other way is they just went ahead and subtracted straight across. So first they said, okay, I'm going to change that one whole into 12/12 again, so that this makes it easier for me to subtract. Then I'm just going to subtract first 12/12 minus 3/12 because that's the next fraction in the problem. And when they did that, they get 9/12. Then they said, okay, now I have to subtract 9/12 from 4/12, or 4/12. 9/12 minus 4/12. And then when I do that, I get 5/12. So 5/12 is my final answer. And again, if you notice, we got the same answer, so either way, so it doesn't matter which way you prefer to solve it. Okay, so let's go on down to the let's try section. It says, find the difference in two ways. Use the number bonds to help decompose the total. Okay, so it says 1 2/5 minus 4/5. Okay, so here, student A, they did part of it and they want us to fill it in. Okay, and I'm going to help you so that you can see when it's a subtraction sentence and when it's a fraction bar, because I know that it's kind of tricky to tell. I had to look at this for a little bit. So here they said, okay, I'm going to write one whole as 5/5, right? That's what they did right here. And now I'm going to add 5/5 and 2/5 together to put this fraction greater, or this mixed number into a fraction greater than 1. So they said 5/5 plus 2/5 equals blank. So I know that 5/5 plus 2/5 is going to give me 7/5. Okay. And now that they've replaced the 1 2/5 right here with 7/5, now they're going to say, okay, now I have 7/5, and I'm going to subtract that minus 4/5. And when I do that, I get 3/5 as my final answer. Okay. The other way they did it was student B said, okay, I have 1 2/5 minus 4/5. So I'm going to first subtract 5/5 minus 4/5. I'm going to take this one whole and I'm going to subtract 4/5 from that first. Okay. So I'm going to say, all right, 5/5 minus 4/5 is going to give me 1/5. Okay. And then I have, so again, they took this one whole away, and because they subtracted 5/5 minus 4/5. So now they have 1/5 left. And they have to add that to 2/5. And when they add 1/5 plus this 2/5 that was still here, they're going to get 3/5 as your final answer. I'm not sure if they messed up and meant to put an addition symbol here, or if they expected you to make it into an addition symbol, but it should definitely be the addition symbol, because remember, you can't say 1/5 minus 2/5 gives you 3/5. You can't take 2/5 away if you only have 1/5, okay? All right, so it says explain how student 1 has a different approach than student 2. Okay, we kind of discussed that, right? Student A converted their 1 whole into 5/5, but then they made it into a fraction greater than 1 first, and then subtracted the 4/5. And then student B was similar, but in the way that they both changed the 1 whole to 5/5. But student B said, actually, I'm going to take 4/5 away from my 1 whole first. Then I'm going to add what I have left back to this 2/5. All right, so either way, they still got the right answer. Whichever way makes more sense to you is completely fine. Okay. All right, now we are on our problem set. All right, so we're going to start with some subtraction using unit form. All right, so here we have 3/5 minus 1/5. Okay, again, we're dealing with the same units, so I can just subtract right away, and I'm going to write it in unit form since the problem is in unit form. Okay, so I know that 3 minus 1 is 2, so that's going to give me 2/5. All right, going across, 5/5 minus 3/5, that's going to give me 2/5. All right, 3/2 minus 2/2. 3 minus 2 is 1, so that's going to give me 1/2. All right, and then 6/4 minus 3/4. 6 minus 3 is 3/4. All right, so now we are going to just subtract down here. Now they're doing it in fraction form. 5/4 minus 4/4. That's going to give us 5 minus 4 is 1, and then our denominator stays the same, which is 4. All right, now we have 5/5 minus 4/5, and that's going to give us 1/5. All right, so those are the two answers that you should have for those. All right, down at the bottom, you're going to find the difference in 2 ways. Use number bonds to decompose the total. Okay, so again, we're going to use those 2 ways that were on the other paper, so you can flip back to that if you need to reference it. And I want you to try to find the difference here in 2 different ways. All right, so I'm going to divide these up so that there will be 2 different ways on each. Please pause the video. I really want you to attempt it first. Okay, if you can't attempt it or you don't know where to start, that's okay. You can follow along with me, and I'll try to slow down to give you some time. So we have 1 3/6 minus 4/6. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do for the first way, I'm going to say, okay, I can say 6/6. I can change 1 whole into 6/6. Okay, and I'm going to add that to the 3/6 that is attached to it right here to make this into a fraction greater than 1. So 6/6 plus 3/6 is going to give me 9/6. Okay, and now that I've replaced the 1 3/6, this is now 9/6. So I'm going to say, now I'm going to subtract 9/6 minus 4/6. 9 minus 4 is 5. My denominator stays the same, which is 6. So my answer is going to be 5/6. Okay, so that's one way you could have solved this problem. Another way that you can find the difference is, again, we're going to start with that. I'm going to write it up here just to help me. 1 3/6 minus 4/6. Again, I'm going to take this 1 whole and I'm going to change it into 6/6. Again, I know to do 6 because that's what my denominator is. All right, that's where I'm getting the 6/6 from. So I need 6/6 to make up one whole. And I'm actually going to subtract the 4/6 now. So I'm going to subtract this now first. All right, when we do that, we get 2/6. All right, now I'm going to add this 3/6 right here. I'm going to add the 2/6 and the 3/6 because remember this 6/6, the 6/6 that we did right here was part of this 3/6. They were together. Okay, so now I'm going to say 2/6 plus the 3/6 that I had left over in my mixed number is going to give me 5/6. So I got the same answer just in a different way. Now that we did one together, see if you can do the next one on your own, at least in one way, the way that makes more sense to you, and then play the video again and go over it with me, okay? So I'm going to hope that you really did pause and now you're coming back to try. I'm going to do it the first way first, and then I'll move on to the second method because the first way is my preferred method. But again, if the other method works better for you, that is totally fine. So here I have 1 6/8 minus 7/8. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to take this one whole and I'm going to replace it with 8/8. And again, now I'm using eighths because that's my denominator in this problem. So I'm going to say 8/8 plus the 6 more eighths that is right next to it, that's attached to that mixed number, is going to give me 14/8. Okay, so 1 6/8 is the same as 14/8. So now I'm going to say 14/8, and I'm going to subtract the 7/8. Okay, 14 minus 7 is 7. 8 is my denominator, so my final answer is 7/8. Okay, moving on to the next strategy, or the other way that you could have found the difference. I'm going to rewrite the problem. 1 6/8 minus 7/8. Again, this is just because I think it helps me to see it right above. All right, so again, I'm going to take that one whole and I'm going to change it into 8/8. But now instead, I'm going to subtract the 7/8 first. Okay, and when I take 8/8 minus 7/8, that's going to leave me with 1/8. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to add that 1/8 to the 6/8 that was left over right here. And that's going to give me 7/8. So again, either way, I got the correct answer. All right. If you need the anchor chart for this, there is an anchor chart for it, and it is under Microsoft Teams in the Files tab. The anchor chart looks like this, just so you know. So you can find that again under Microsoft Teams, under the Files tab, and go to Anchor Charts. All right, if you need to look at this example, especially if you're doing Zearn or Prodigy or any of those supplemental online platforms that are probably going to start bringing up new content sometime soon. Okay, please reach out if you need any help, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.